Interzone Books presents The Chronicles of After-Hour Necrophilia, a fanatical adherence of absurd creeds. Its crimes spring from its fanaticism. A Goliath of stolen words, mind control techniques, and madness. A nightmare system of evil and progress, the last resort of delirium. Things people should not know or see in the light. Adult sinners in the business of self-destruction. The innovators in body dilapidation and pleasure exploration, elegantly improving the disapproved of daily. By Stan K.Y. Backpassage. Printed by Collider Press. Written at the Panorama Bar in Berlin, 1932. The Institute. Particles obtrusive interfere with my minutes of sleep. The chemical Koch brothers whisper speed matters in circles around the abstract beaver shot on my computer screen. Wild hours spent in the love removal machine dealing with the problems of luxury. See, I'm just an amateur mining the grid in the hanging gardens where the sky was stolen. So go on, escape into the negative reinforcement falling from your dreams. The cult of angels looking over frozen souls in the experimental motion graphic of life called the electric black bottom. The divided mind of the modern man has become agitated, fanatical, doubting, and satirical, his rational ability fading, and agony is his awareness. He moves about his solitary existence as if in cold interstellar space, around tyrants, coercers, and sorcerers. He moves among great enemies, but his strength is in his aloneness. His ecstasies become ironies, his personal passions become prayer. We're such rugged individualists in the 21st century. The flesh and spirit become separated in the wilderness. No longer is it body, soul, and mind. Wisdom can no longer count on knowledge to find it. Life becomes hard to decipher. Cruelty from kindness, from coldness, dispassionately wanting to know for the sake of knowing, not searching for truth. In every age of revolution, a good deal of the old still remain. We can no longer wait for their detached, so-called truth that is sinking the West. Never knowing the wholeness of mind leaves them open to trickery and intimidation. The labyrinth of their lives is in front of their eyes. They do not see nor fully understand the notions floating around in their brains. The dark draws closed on these servants. A hopeless voice in view struggling in the infinite gloom on a world suffering catastrophe, plunged to ruin and destruction. A living sacrifice in the temple of ghosts. I bear my affliction patiently. Society is becoming indifferent to the good in life. No longer is there right or wrong, useful or harmful. Now it's a mixture of hedonistic and utilitarian views. Unable to insert the ethical conception diminishes the moral factor to a minimum in God's forgotten far-off foster children. The dwelling place of being hijacked, held captive by the eternal personality of God. Man is condemned and punished in the divine light, shackled to the forbidden tree of knowledge. Humankind needs to rediscover the radiant light that emanates from the most outstanding and potent phenomenon in the world, ourselves. It is time to put down the ceremonial performances and deepen our insights and interest, and to remember the fabric woven of many chief fibers that make up our being: truth, honesty, purity in accord with the testimony of conscience, which feels the sense of obligation to duty and righteousness. This transmission has been interrupted by the World Data Ethics Center. It is unauthorized and not profitable to this regime. Remember, citizen, there is no power in choice. Opportunity is wrong, evil is good, wrong is right. My blessed inhabitants of my economy. Where have all the midwives gone that help birth the adolescent love for wisdom? The wisdom that will help them free themselves from the apostles' guilt and prepare them to look at the nagging big questions and ignite their curiosity, confounding the keepers of the temple, so they may stand and say that to believe in an incoherent congeries of concepts in grammatical sentence form is to self-deceive. It is impossible to believe an incoherent claim, as this demonstrates, because the only thing that can come from nothing is God, and God has the ability to make matter with just the act of thought and will. For the love of future humanity, help them to collar this hound of heaven, so we may eliminate the mental agony that escorts resentment. While others believe and worship you for harboring doubts, will be damned as inadequate by others. Christians in the church, for you will understand that there is no joy in the Redeemer, no ecstasy in the house of the Lord. You will not feel any of the hypnotical certitude in salvation. Alas, I hope to help the youth to become seduced with the smell of books, knowing knowledge is tempting foreplay to philosophy, and the facility of freedom from having to believe the unbelievable, to have your mind wonderfully liberated and affirmed as normal, having washed away the grime of guilt unnecessarily accrued, resulting in a chance for a free life. Out of the collected impressions and prejudices, you make conclusions based on what you want to see, but it is not actually what you want me to be. I'm a loser, a rebel, a cause without, but don't think me careless. My life is a long and lonely silent street, long walks in the dark, taking trips to nowhere over muted stones, across dry leaves, and someone behind me is also walking. If I stop, it stops. I run, it runs. I turn around, no one. Every turn leads to the street where no one waits for me. No one follows me. I'm still here, I guess, living, laying on the edge of my soul, on the narrow ledge before falling as the far-off yelling savages grow quiet. My last words caught between dead lips. The curtain of death closes on me. So I am wholly riveted to this point in the malicious clutches of the dark. Demons with human faces, the shadow on the valley. I am a whole always at the same rate of speed. Tiresome is my mental and emotional stress. Grim teeth from behind a dim smile. I know no more than the dead imprisoned far from fate. Frightened under moonlight, I softly whisper, "Am I going mad?" I'm a lunatic materialized from phantom shapes and dead children's laughter. Troubled by black advice, I travel the earth hardened against sorrow, missing tomorrow. Drowning in tears, with a body marked by violence and a soul occupied by death, wanting love. The suspense of longing has me moored to the misery of myself. I stand 1 inch away from an awful abyss and 100,000 miles from something to believe in. Everywhere, nothing is waiting for me. The empty coming out night after night, like the walking dead, alive enough to know I'd rather be dead. As the guardian of misery, I observe love occupied with others. The unlimited hopelessness laughs and applauds my sorrow. Darkness unmercifully loosens its whip. There is a strange mixture of fear, faith, and rolling thunder. Demoralized and defeated, I shatter into pieces.